Jill broke up with Jacob because of trust issues, Clayton brought Susie to tears, and Victoria and Greg are moving in together. Hey guys, and welcome back to another Shared News. We have your Bachelor Nation news breakdown of the week. But before we get into it, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on any future videos. I'm your host, Allison Van Dam, joined today by Kayla Thompson. Kayla, are you keeping up to date with Bachelor Nation during this off season between Bachelor in Paradise and Zach's season?
Oh, 100%. Mainly because of Greg and Victoria. They left us with many questions. So, I was at your guy, Nick Viall's podcast, like, okay, what's going on? But even with Jill and Jacob of it all, it's, there's always more left. There's always residuals at the end of a Bachelor season.
Exactly.
So, of course.
Yeah. And we had such like a kind of crazy and rushed reunion filming. So much footage was jammed into such a short amount of time that it's no surprise to me that not only Victoria and Greg, but Jill and Jacob have more updates since leaving that filming. So let's just jump into it with the Jill and Jacob drama. Apparently, the two of them have called it quits. Jill went on the Clickbait with Bachelor Nation podcast to reveal that she was the one to break up with Jacob after their short-lived romance. She said, quote, "After our one-on-one aired, we were like, oh, we're catching the feelings again. And then we started talking more and more. And then about 3 weeks before the reunion, we decided that we probably wanted to give this a shot, so we were just going to talk and try it out. Then at the reunion, as we all saw, Jacob literally swept Jill off her feet in a sweet, grand gesture. And Jill said that at this point, she was really looking forward to exploring their relationship and described that moment at the reunion as a fairy tale moment, but the relationship shortly ended. When asked what went wrong, she said, quote, "The trust has been broken. In a long-distance relationship, you need communication and trust, and we had neither of those things." So she doesn't go into a lot of detail, but when you're talking about trust and communication and long distance, my mind immediately goes to cheating. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. She left us so curious. She left us with questions like, okay, so what actually happened? What was it that broke her trust? Or what was it that, Jacob did for him to not gain her trust? So, I think cheating comes to mind. I think maybe being dishonest comes to mind. Maybe between them leaving the beach and deciding to get back together, maybe there was discrepancies between what he said he was, doing, or maybe people he was talking to or in communication with. Maybe he was talking to multiple girls, and you know how Jill goes. She's not playing any of those games. We saw that with Romeo. She wanted no parts. She was like one sniff of something and she's out. So yeah, I don't know. It was very abrupt from, the reunion to now. So it must have been something that happened is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And you raise a good point too. We've seen their kind of communication styles or the way that they approach relationships, and they are very different. Jill herself on Paradise said, "I mate for life." She's very set on one person, and Jacob seems like the kind of guy that, not in a malicious way in any way, but he wants to play the field a little bit more. He wants to see what options are out there before fully committing. So yeah, if they had this kind of period in limbo where they were just talking, but maybe they weren't exclusive, or maybe directly after leaving the beach, he was talking to someone or pursued something and that got brought up, there's definitely a chance that's what she's talking about. And I'm wondering if one of the reasons we didn't get more details is because she actually said later in the interview that she wishes him no ill will. She wants to move on positively. And maybe she knew if she did expose exactly what happened, people would look at him differently. And she wants to leave things on a good spot with him. But yeah, it did seem like a very quick reunion and a very quick breakup again.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a good point you brought up about Jill, withholding the information intentionally. I think that definitely is very respectable. And I think my other thought about Jacob is he's 27, 28. I think he's still kind of in his late 20s. He's still in his, leaving his 20s, and he might just be in a space where he's still kind of in his messy era and trying to figure out, what he really wants. And like you said, playing the field. And so it might not be anything malicious, like you also said, but just maybe the place he is in his life. And Jill did mention in this interview that, she can see Jacob being a good partner for someone in the future, but right now he has some things that he has
Mhm.
to obviously work on. So I wish him the
Totally.
best in moving forward and maturing. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
sad.
So if our detective senses are on, if our detective hats are correct, it probably wasn't full blown on cheating because I don't think she would have said he's going to be a
Hmm.
great partner for someone or she wishes him the
Right.
best if something that crazy had happened. But yeah, maybe there was a gray area, some blurred lines, some not really knowing what's happening between the two of them. So I guess we'll see if Jacob, comes out with his own story or if he's dating someone new. We'll have to, of course, cover that later on. But moving on, Susie is talking about what her and Clayton's relationship looks like after their breakup. So she told Us Weekly that originally she was pretty open in terms of whether they would continue communicating moving forward. But it was actually Clayton that thought it wouldn't be a good idea. It wouldn't be a good idea to keep texting, to keep
Mm.
talking to each other post split. She said, quote, he was able to express to me that he didn't think it was going to be good to stay in touch. So we don't really keep in touch. But he did send me a really nice message, like, I don't know, a month ago, and it brought me to tears. So everyone, of course, is wondering,
Mm.
what was this message? How did it bring her to tears? She said, quote, it was just really nice for him to say, like, I'm so grateful for everything that you did for me in our relationship. And I've been able to reflect, and I'm just truly grateful for the friendship that we had at the end of the day. And that meant a lot to me, being Susie. And I feel like this is totally understandable. One, I kind of agree with Clayton. I don't feel like you necessarily need to stay in communication with an ex. If you have a
Mm.
question for them later down the line or if something random pops up, sure. But consistent communication, I just think that makes it really hard to move on and kind of understand that that chapter's
Yeah.
closed. Um, but I like how the two of them have kind of ended their relationship. It really seems positive. He's able to text her saying he
Hmm.
really appreciates everything she did for him, which she did a lot if you think through it. Like she was there with him during
Mm.
all of our criticisms of him during his season, of him going back and forth, of him
Yeah.
saying, I love you to multiple women. And she was, his cheerleader. She was standing by his side. So I'm glad that he's able to see that now. I'm glad that they're somewhat positive. What do you think about Clayton and Susie communicating with an ex, reaching out like this?
No, I think I agree with you. I agree with all of your thoughts. I mean, I think that cutting things off clean and clear is the smart and wise thing to do because I think if you stay in communication or you try to stay friends and talk often, closure is difficult. So I think that it's good to
Hmm.
kind of give your space and you still be cordial and be respectful of each other. And even them going on Caitlin Bristow's podcast together showed that there really isn't any ill will between the two of them, but it truly is just, we weren't each other's people and we weren't compatible for life together as a couple. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, even Susie saying in this interview, there was nothing Clayton did wrong. There was no situation. It just is what it is. So, yeah, I think it honestly, just like how we were saying when they first broke up, I think it just shows the type of people that they are and the character that they have with the way that they've treated this breakup. But yeah, I think Clayton did the right thing by saying, "Hey, let's just go our separate ways and not really continue a relationship, a friendship."
And I'm excited to see both of them kind of grow and prosper, whether it's career, whether it's in some way staying somewhat in Bachelor Nation or at least in the public eye, because I feel like everyone has really come to know them, come to love them, not only as a couple, but as individuals. So I'll be interested
Hmm.
to see, in what way they stay involved or if they kind of just move on from the franchise. But I really did love them together and I love the way they're handling the whole split.
Yeah.
But to wrap up our Bachelor news of the week, moving on to another Bachelor couple, Greg and Victoria. They are going full steam ahead with their relationship, pushing forward, and the next step is apparently moving in together. So Greg
Mm.
actually said, quote, we're already in the process. It's Nashville for us. I think that's the step that we're taking right now is moving in together. So we know Greg is from the East Coast. Victoria's currently in Nashville. So I don't know if he's going to move into her place, if they're going to get their own place. I believe she has a home in Nashville, a house. So I guess it would make sense for him to
Hmm.
move in there. But Greg also said that he spent Thanksgiving with Victoria's family and that she would be going home with him for Christmas. So full steam ahead, moving in, meeting families, saying I love you. I mean, it seems like they are jumping in head first, ready to go. But then you also
Yeah.
remember, Greg asked her to be his girlfriend on Halloween on October 31st.
Mm.
It is currently December 1st. That is 1 month. So,
Yeah.
is this moving too quickly, or is this one of those things where, they've dated other people before? If you know, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah, I see your point, and I have to agree. I think, oh, I don't wanna say it because I actually like I like Victoria and Greg together. I think that to me, they make sense from watching each other on their seasons to watching their journeys after and where they are in their lives, just and how they've matured. I think that they actually do make a good match. And I think so yeah, I think that they could be great together, but I do feel like this is very, very fast, especially for Victoria having just left an engagement. Now I know, you know, I like to call it TV engaged. It's like, is it really legit an
Mhm.
engagement? I mean, it's not like real engaged, but still, it was like a commitment of like long term
Yeah,
life commitment that you made to this other person. And 3 weeks after that, you kind of explored this new connection with this person. And now you're moving in with them a month after, you officialized your relationship. It is a lot. And I just hope that it's not one of those things where you kind of burn bright and fast and then you burn out.
totally.
So I don't know. We'll have to kind of keep our eyes on them. I know you were around them, so you probably get more of a sense of their dynamic. I watched their
Mhm.
interview with you guys, but still, it's like, okay, guys. You're like, okay, but just hold on. It's a little
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, and there's always exceptions to every rule. You can talk to people who
Mm,
say, "Oh, we got engaged after 2 months and we've been married for 25 years." You have people who said,
right.
"I dated a guy for 7 years and then I realized he wasn't the one for me." So you don't know how it's all going to shake out. But yeah, I it's because I want them to be together. It's because I see the
Yeah.
connection between the two of them that I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
let's just move safely. But
Yes.
yeah, so I mean, who knows? I think they both strike me as very self-aware people who have had dating experience. So in that way, I want to
Mm-hmm.
trust them and kind of if they think it's right, I'll get behind them. But like you
Yeah.
said, I guess we'll just have to look for updates, get the updates. But that is everything we have for you for the Bachelor News breakdown of the week. We're curious to know what your guys' thoughts are during this off season between Bachelor in Paradise and Zach's season of The Bachelor, which does air on January 23rd. So, of course, we'll be covering all the Bachelor Nation news in the meantime, but then we will be back full steam ahead for Zach's season in January. So, put your thoughts down in the comments below. And before you go, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on any of our future videos. I'm your host, Allison Van Dam, joined today by Kayla Thompson. Our social handles are on the screen right now if you want to come give us a follow and say hello. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.